Do you know that the man who invented this object never made a single penny from it? Or that the scientist who improved it accidentally saved millions of people from a horrific bone disease? The match is not just a piece of wood. It is a story of industrial espionage, lethal chemistry, and accidental genius. Why is such a simple object actually more complex than a smartphone in its own way? Let's solve the mystery of the match. Before 1826, creating fire was a luxury. If you wanted to cook dinner or light a candle, you had two bad options. First, the tinderbox. You had to strike flint against steel, hoping a spark would land on dry linen. It was slow, frustrating, and if the weather was damp, it was impossible. The second option was to never let the fire die. Families would keep embers burning 24 hours a day, covering them with ash at night. Losing the fire was a household disaster. The world was desperate for portable fire. Chemists knew it was possible, but the mixtures were unstable and expensive. Until a mistake happened. Enter John Walker, a pharmacist from England. He wasn't trying to invent a match. He was making a paste for guns. While stirring a mix of antimony sulfide and potassium chlorate, a glob dried on the end of his mixing stick. To clean it off, Walker scraped the stick across the stone floor. Friction caused a reaction. The stick burst into flames. Walker had accidentally invented the friction match. He started selling them as friction lights. But here is the mystery. Walker refused to patent his invention. He believed scientific discoveries belonged to the public. It was a noble gesture, but a naive one. Competitors immediately stole the formula. A man named Samuel Jones copied it exactly and sold them under a much darker name, lucifers. The lucifers lived up to their name. They were violent. When struck, they often exploded, showering the user with sparks. They ruined clothes and burned carpets. To fix this, manufacturers added a new ingredient, white phosphorus. It worked. White phosphorus matches could strike on anything, a wall, a shoe, a piece of wood. They were incredibly convenient. But white phosphorus is a lethal poison. And this is the tragic part of the story. The workers in match factories, mostly young women, began to get sick. They developed phossy jaw. The fumes caused their jawbones to rot and glow in the dark. It was a horrific price to pay for a household convenience. The solution required lateral thinking. In 1844, a Swedish professor named Gustav Erik Pasch had an idea. He replaced the toxic white phosphorus with safe red phosphorus. But he didn't put it on the match head. He moved the active chemical to the side of the box. This was the genius move. The match head had one part of the ingredients. The box had the other. The fire could only be born when the two met. They were called safety matches. Sweden dominated the world market, and this simple two-part system is still what we use today. This invention changed warfare, allowing soldiers to carry light in the trenches. It changed huge industries. It democratized energy. Before the match, fire was a challenge. After the match, it was a commodity. Today, we have lighters and electricity. But in a survival kit, you won't find a battery. You will find waterproof matches, because sometimes the simplest technology is the hardest to beat. This was the story of the match. Subscribe to First Shapes to discover the history hiding in your pocket.